Hello everybody and welcome to another How to Win video here at Playing Board Games. In this episode we're going to be talking about synergies and teaching you how to understand synergies. This one's pretty simple and the examples that we have here are just like just a drop in the bucket to all the synergies that exist in this game. This is actually probably one of the best parts about the player card part of the game is that you can see synergies in all shapes and sizes. You can see the hardcore I need to win synergies, which we are going to focus on a lot of the core value here because that's what this series is about. But there's also synergies that are a bit more fun or janky, but we're here talking about just the basic idea of what a synergy is, as well as a few examples of some synergies that can be really beneficial to you as a player to take advantage of. So, if you do not know, the first question that we need to answer with this video is what exactly is a synergy? So, a synergy is a positive interaction between cards or effects. Nice and simple. So if you have one card that does something and there is another card or that can benefit from that something, baby, you got a synergy going. Nice and simple. And it doesn't need to be huge. It can be really minor. Actually, in some of the examples we have, the effect is very minor, but it still is a synergy because all you're looking for a synergy is a positive interaction between cards or effects. The next one here can also manifest in investigator composition. So Travis, you wanted to talk, there was a little note for you to talk about this one with the team compositions and roles. So how is there a synergy within the investigator compositions?
Yeah, so your investigator comps can have the synergies you're looking for there are your abilities to interact not strictly positively like the player cards, but covering positively in that you cover each other's weaknesses. Someone I can't remember if it's later in the video or not, but Carolyn and Agnes as sort of a direct synergy where Agnes wants to take horror and Carolyn gets rewarded for fixing it and also helps pay for the high cost mystic assets. But it can even be something as simple as having someone who's really good at evading enemies or cares about having evaded enemies, paired up with someone like Finn as a clover.
Yep.
Something that's just taking advantage of something that other investigators are just going to do naturally.
Yeah. The Carolyn and Agnes isn't in the video later, but it's good to shout out here. There's actually another one that I want to shout out that is an example of you find these small synergies with investigators as well, covering weaknesses. But I was playing Trish with a Daniela, and Daniela's ability to just when an enemy attacks them to evade it. Is great for Trisha's weakness. So there's these small things that can really show up with investigators as well, which also we consider them to be player cards, but there's just even beyond just the composition of the idea of clue getting and all that, just seeing these little things show up with investigators is really cool. Last little point here. It's an important part of gameplay and deck building. It makes your decks more powerful and more fun to play. Nice, yeah, it's true. Going back to the thing I just had with Daniela and Trish, Daniela just using the lightning bolt on her wrench to get rid of the her personal weakness. It was this is incredible. That just solves the problem immediately. Doesn't even require an action. It doesn't require a test. And all these other synergies we're going to get to also are an important part of making your decks more powerful and more fun to play.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watch our gameplay videos, but this is some of the moments where we have the most fun, get the most excited, or when we realize these sorts of things. A little bit of spoilers for our unfinished Edge of the Earth playthrough is I'm playing a Lily Chen deck, and I was looking at her disciplines. I was like, man, I get +5 to punch check. I wish I could play some kind of shotgun, take advantage of that. And Bernie and I were talking about it, and we realized that Bob Jenkins could just buy and pay for a shotgun for Lily to shoot things at +5 with.
This might come up later in the video as well. It might.
Yeah?
It just might, yeah.
I don't remember what's in this one. I wrote it a long time ago.
Yeah, it has been a few months. Yeah. So why don't we talk about some types of synergies before we get into some generic examples for it. So, cards that work toward a common goal. What's the synergy here, Travis?
Rex Murphy, you see, likes to get clues as he's a seeker. And his ability is after you succeed a skill test by 2 or more while investigating, you discover an additional clue at your location. Deduction level 2 says when the skill test is successful in investigating a location, you discover 1 additional clue, or you get 2 additional clues instead if it succeeds by 2 or more. So altogether, if you commit this to a test with Rex Murphy and you succeed by 2 or more, you get 3 additional clues for a total of 4, which is a lot. And quite conveniently, deduction commits for 2 book symbols, which is the amount that you need to succeed by.
Yeah, these are the synergies that are the easiest to see when like it's the same text but just on a different card. They naturally work together really well. So this is like the basic, easiest. You just look at this and you see the synergy. Next one here, we have cards that are usually subpar but make other cards stronger. So Inspiring Presence on its own is not really that exciting. So it's just if this skill test is successful, ready an ally asset at your location and heal 1 damage or 1 horror from it. The text on that is ultimately just like if you look at it, you ready an ally and you heal a damage or a horror. It's not that impactful. But then we look at Beat Cop level 2. You get +1 fist, but the important thing is Lightning Bolt. Exhaust Beat Cop and deal 1 damage to it. Deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. Inspiring Presence with Beat Cop now does multiple things. It readies it so it can deal damage to another enemy. It also heals it so you get a whole free, like not a free use, but you get an additional use out of Beat Cop. So this is an example of a card that's less impactful on its own and making another card stronger, and already a strong card as well. This also works with any allies at exhaust, and this is like, when you look at a card like Inspiring Presence, you should be asking yourself, what does this synergize with? So you should now be looking for allies that care about damage on them, and horror on them, beyond just what they soak. And then you should also look at the ready an ally asset and be like, what are allies that I want to use multiple times? B-Cop fits both of these things where you want to use him multiple times, but also he takes damage for an effect, so there's a really nice synergy there. Next example of synergy we got is cards that are already strong, but lend a unique effect to make subpar cards better. So Travis, you have some actual experience with this one. What is this synergy?
Yeah, I put this one in a Zoe deck through the Waking side of Dream Eaters, I think. Yeah, we have Mr. Rook, who lets you spend one of his 3 secrets at fast speed to search either the top 3, 6, or 9 cards of your deck for any card and draw it. But if you find at least 1 weakness among the search cards, you draw one of them as well, and then you have to shuffle your deck. Now, normally, drawing weakness sounds like a bad thing, but sometimes there's weaknesses that you want to draw. In the deck I played, I used it in combination with the Hungering Blade, which shuffles these Bloodlusts into your deck. These Bloodlust weaknesses basically make the Hungering Blade attack for more and can make it do more damage to shuffle them back in. And I used Mr. Rook to find them consistently and when I wanted to draw them. As well as finding, like, just a normal other card.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the synergies that are... these are like the ones that are like the least obvious, the ones that you see a strong card and you're like, how can I use this card to make other cards better? Not that they're like hard to find, but just like as you go down the list, like I think they went from easiest to the ones you have to like bend your brain a bit, because I would never have thought of this. Maybe I'm just like an ape bashing stones together, being like, I like skill cards. But this still is like, it's a nice discovery and a cool example of a synergy that you can use to take a strong card and make a less consistent card more consistent. Cards that lend a new and unique use to another card. So Eucatastrophe is when you would reveal a Chaos token that would reduce your skill value to 0 during a skill test, including the autofail. You cancel that token and treat it as a blessed token instead. The Black Cat has the text on it. The important part on it is it changes the Elder Sign. You have the choice to change it to +5. Heal all damage and horror from the Black Cat. So maybe your Investigator's Elder Sign isn't that impressive, like, say, for example, Tommy Muldoon. It's fine, but you're like, how can I make this better? Eucatastrophe and Tommy Muldoon doesn't seem that exciting. However, if I'm playing Tommy Muldoon with the Black Cat, this Elder Sign is now basically Endless Soak. Tommy Muldoon also might want the Black Cat to die, but we're not here to talk about that. But basically, if you're playing the Black Cat and you can run Eucatastrophe, this is a synergy that you could take advantage of to, exactly as the little description says, lend a new and unique use to another card. Yeah. So some of the strongest synergies, this is another type of synergy that we're going to get to before we get to some examples, is synergies that have cost mitigation. So we actually talk about costs, and I think even cost mitigation in this series as well. But it's basically the idea is that you negate some of the cost. You mitigate some of the cost of an effect. So we have some examples here. Paying a cost with a resource that is negligible. What's going on with this synergy, Travis?
Yeah, so our meat cleaver wants us. This is a pretty common one that we talk about fairly often, but our meat cleaver wants us to take a horror to do an extra damage. And obviously, you only have so many horror in the game, so theoretically, this meat cleaver has a limited number of uses. But when you got your buddy Pete Sylvester in play, who gets to heal one horror for free, suddenly that cost basically doesn't exist anymore, because you just put it on Pete and then he heals it. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. This one is, we talk about it so much in the community, it has the name Pete Cleaver, so that's how you know it's good. When your synergy has a nickname, that's how you know it's a good synergy. We need nicknames for all the synergies. Next one here is we got paying a cost in a way that generates a benefit where it typically wouldn't. So Agnes Baker, she, after one of her horrors placed on her, she deals 1 damage to an enemy at her location. And then Forbidden Knowledge has 4 secrets, and you can exhaust Forbidden Knowledge to take 1 horror, move 1 secret from Forbidden Knowledge to your resource pool as a resource. This is actually kind of really important as a little like sub message here, but a good way to find synergies with an investigator is to look at the cards specifically that came out in their set, because they are going to have synergies that make the character. As Travis says in our videos a lot, that this card was made for this character or made with this character in mind when they came out in the same box, because the character needs support to really take advantage of their ability. Agnes Baker here with Forbidden Knowledge is very relevant on that because not many other mystics are going to be playing Forbidden Knowledge because they don't have that extra bit of synergy that Agnes has, where horror on her can be a good thing. So this is basically just like a lightning bolt, gain a resource, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. And that's like a really strong synergy that Agnes Baker can mitigate the cost of the horror because she wants to benefit from the horror damage. So yeah. This one's a little bit different, but it's like the idea of like finding a card, a synergy that you can turn a downside into an upside. Generating extra amounts of a typically limited resource. What's going on here, Travis?
Yeah, this is something I've complained about in the context of secret cards a couple times, but there's a lot of cards that are designed to have been used only a certain number of times. Like our Necronomicon here has a limited number of secrets. Or something like the Noptic manuscripts or Pendant to the Queen, if you'd like to look those up. But so Necronomicon has 6 secrets, and it has 4 different abilities to spend those secrets that you can spend 1 secret, 2 secrets, 3 secrets, or 4 secrets for. So in theory, when you play this card, you can deal 3 damage, spend your 4 secrets, deal 3 damage to an enemy engaged with you, and then draw 2 cards, which is like not unreasonable for a 5 cost card, or 5 experience card. Or, you could discover 2 clues, testless, from any location. You could get +2 to 6 different tests, or, you get 6 unexpected courages. And they can be spent on the same test, or you can draw like 6 cards, all of which are pretty reasonable for 5 experience. And the part where this card becomes, like, too good is when you can just do them over and over again, which is something that a card like Ariadne's Twine enables, where you can put a resource from your pool onto the Twine every turn, and then you can spend the secrets from the Twine as if they were on the Necronomicon. So you just get a secret on your Necronomicon every turn. Yeah, there's a couple other cards that can enable this sort of thing, like Library Docent to reset the Necronomicon. Then you need to work around it a little bit. You need to have another tome in your hand, I believe, and it takes a couple actions. But
yeah, they're all examples of the same kind of idea of the synergy of getting extra amounts of a resource that is normally limited. Yeah. Sweet. All right, we have a bunch of other synergies that we can talk through that kind of fit into all of these things, so buckle up and get ready as we're going to just cover these quickly one by one. First one we got here is Dr. Milan Christopher and Higher Education. This one is kind of just really simple. Dr. Milan gives you a resource when you investigate, and you can use that resource to pay for more book and higher education, to then pass that test to then gain another resource. In addition, I mean, just like it's just like that's just like it's just value. It's just like a synergistic value that just like never ends. The resource pays back into itself with the book here.
Yep.
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 What about this one, Travis?
And here we got Catbug and our ornate bow. So the weakness of the ornate bow is sometimes you shoot your arrow and you miss, and
Everyone
then
laughs
the
at you.
enemy hits you. But Catbug helps mitigate this by, if you do happen to miss, it gives you sort of contingency where you can disengage from the enemy and move to a connecting location, avoiding attacks of opportunity, so that way you have the opportunity to knock another arrow.
Yeah.
This being an action plays really well with a lot of other green cards like haste. And also, Catbug happens to give you +1 foot, which makes shooting with the bow better.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Layers of synergy. Wow.
Yeah.
Next one here is we have Treasure Hunter and Dark Horse. So Dark Horse, what's important is that when you have no resources, you get +1 to each of your stats. Kind of fun. Treasure Hunter has the forced effect at the end of the upkeep phase. You must either pay 1 resource or discard Treasure Hunter. It also gives you a book, which is notable because basically with Dark Horse, you can be a Dark Horse deck, choose to gain the resource during the upkeep phase, and then you can just immediately use that resource to pay for Treasure Hunter, effectively as if you didn't take a resource and keeping your Dark Horse pool active. This is nice because with then Treasure Hunter in play, you get +2 book, which is a pretty nice number.
And 2/2 soak for an initial investment of only a single resource.
Yeah, and this is also especially important too because you don't really care about the resources you're spending to keep him going. It's a nice little
he's free.
little thing there. Yeah. What about this one, Travis?
Oh, this one's super easy. Yeah, Lombo, who gives you an extra action to play or activate spell abilities while you have Doom on one of your cards. And Arcane Initiate comes into play with a Doom on it. And so it's an easy way to get Doom, but also allows you to search the top 3 cards of your deck for a spell card every turn. So it only gives you the extra action and also the cards to play with that extra action.
Yeah, it like literally does everything.
Yeah.
We have this is the one.
Yeah.
The Discipline, Prescience of Faith. You get +5 skill value for the next skill test. Then we also have the Sawed-Off Shotgun. This could be as well the regular shotgun, but the Sawed-Off Shotgun is especially relevant because it's actually, as Travis said, there is ways for her to get her hands on this shotgun. But this is as Travis said.
I spoiled it already.
Yeah, we spoiled it already, but you've already forgotten about it. With this one, though, it's pretty simple. You get a +5 fist, and you're going to take advantage of the sawed-off shotgun in a way you don't. This one is very specific, and like there's like specific ways to work around it, but it is just a fun one that we wanted to include in this. I'll be honest with you, Travis. When I was doing this, the thing is it just said Prescience of Fate and shotgun. So I did it, and then I was like, wait a minute, this isn't right. Lily can't use guns. And I was like, right, I should put the sawed-off shotgun here because then it's actually relevant.
Yeah. Hey, you can use teamwork to give her another shotgun.
It definitely could. It's definitely
other
possible.
ways.
Just not even with that one. You can definitely do it with shotgun too. What's this one, Travis?
Here we got Sacrifice and Protecting the Anurnik.
Anurnik, I believe it is.
Okay. So this one lets you discard a mystic asset to either draw 3 cards or get 3 resources or some combination there. And then you can also play the Protecting the Anurnik, which you can only play after an ally asset at your location is discarded by a card effect or defeated. So you discard your David Renfield or whatever after getting a bunch of resources from Sacrifice, and then you can either return David to your hand, resetting the Doom on him for the next agenda, or draw 3 cards in addition to getting your Sacrifice bonus.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I want to do with this combo. Like I want to do like Diana and just like keep reloading the card on her. It's just this is a fun combo and a fun little synergy.
Yeah, I think this one's neat.
It is, yeah. We have Mr. Rook and Astounding Revelation. Travis, I'm going to take, because I added another one with Astounding Revelation, but I'll throw this one to you again because you are the Mr. Rook expert.
I mean, yeah, this one's like pretty obvious, I think, but you use Mr. Rook to look at your cards, and then you find your Astounding Revelation.
Yeah.
and you use it to put a secret back on Mr. Rook, so
Yeah.
you get like extra uses for free.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, nice and simple, and also still just feels good. Feels very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I added this one on here. This is a Stick to the Plan and
Nice.
Astounding Revelation. This one's really neat because if you're running Stick to the Plan and you can run Astounding Revelation as well, if you put a 1 of Astounding Revelation into your deck, you search your deck at the start of the game before you draw your opening hand, and you can play Astounding Revelation as part of that search. Well, it's reaction effect because it technically cannot be played, which means you can start with 7 resources and 1 less card in your deck. It's a cool synergy. It's not exactly like it's not like crazy powerful, but it is just nice and it's just efficient. So something for you to
Man,
also consider.
starting with 7 resources for Guardian is very good.
It's
That's like
very good.
a machete and a beat cop first turn.
Yeah, and then you also probably have Ever Vigilant on your Stick to the Plan, so you can play pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. All right, well, those are all of our synergies, but hopefully we helped you understand what synergies are and how you can take advantage of them. We'll be back very soon for another episode of our How to Win Understanding Arkham series. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thanks to our patrons. If there's any topics you want to see us cover, let us know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one, and as always, GG's.